I've been staring at my ceiling all day, motionless. My body, though physically still, is being racked with the most intense feelings of nausea, anxiety, and disgusted dread it's ever felt. Each round is a tidal wave that keeps me clinging to my mattress like a castaway clinging to a piece of debris for dear life. Trauma bonds are an addiction, and I've begun to withdraw. The tiny townhouse I'm staying in is empty. My aunt has been gone all day. For once, I'm entirely alone, and I don't want to be. One thing briefly snaps me into a reality after nearly 2 days of utter non-existence. Hunger pangs. I think, how long has it been since I've eaten? No sooner had I asked that, I realized I didn't have an answer to my question. This morning? No. Yesterday afternoon? I wasn't sure. After another hour of wrestling my body's natural need for sustenance, I begrudgingly peel my sweaty, anxiety-fatigued near carcass out of the bed and see what's in the kitchen. Nada. That's right, me and my aunt were supposed to go grocery shopping tomorrow. I look to the dining room table and see a note. Be home late. Here's money for dinner. Sitting next to the paper was a $20 bill. I could order pizza, but I really didn't want to deal with talking on the phone and later to a delivery person. As I was pondering this current predicament, I got the sudden strong craving for one food and one food only. Spaghetti? Fine, okay. The grocery store would be overstimulating, but at least I could use earphones and use the self-checkout. I wouldn't have to talk to anyone that way. Plus, cooking may take my mind off things. Just then my phone buzzed. I looked at it, and it's him again. My heart starts to race and I feel sick all over again. This is the second account of his I've blocked so far today. Can't he just leave me alone? Fuck this, I gotta get out of the house. I grab my coat, wallet, and keys and head out the door. As I get inside my car with my ingredients, my head is ringing. I sit in my vehicle looking at the dark 4 p.m. winter sky and suddenly, I crumble. Head slamming on the steering wheel, arms holding myself in a vain attempt to keep it together, I break down into a broken sob. Another fucking notification and 5 missed calls from a new burner account. He won't leave me alone. I can't help but think during all this, why me? What's so special about me? I'm an absolute nobody, completely no different from anyone else. Why is this happening to me? Somehow, I get home. I stumble inside and start to scroll on TikTok numbly before cooking, in hopes that social media distraction would calm my nerves enough to pick up a utensil. Suddenly, a video shows up on my For You page that fills the empty and silent house with the sound of a small creator's original song. It was gorgeous. The song, called Kind Eyes, was about putting yourself first for the first time. This was exactly the message I needed tonight. A bit of strength returned as I listened to the clip and looked down at the song's creator. Haven, And it looked like the album this song belonged to was already out. I opened YouTube and searched Sanity by Haven and began to listen as I made myself a home-cooked meal. The album titled Sanity by creator Haven should be listened to by anybody who's ever been in an abusive relationship or toxic situation. I firmly believe that. This gorgeous album made me feel like someone understood. It really felt like someone was narrating my life in real time. Soon, this collection of songs became my best friend. These songs gave me strength, understanding, and comfort as I was weaning myself off the poison that used to be administered to my mind daily. It is for this reason that I'm not doing a traditional album analysis for this artwork. Not only is it too personal to me to be able to do an unbiased analysis of its story, but I also honestly just don't want to spoil anything. Haven currently has 141 monthly listeners on Spotify, and I would like everyone watching this video to become one after it's over. This artist is lyrically gifted, intelligent, and overall makes gorgeous music that you all should do yourselves a service and check out. For this video, I'm going to highlight my 4 favorite songs from this album and how they impacted me in hopes that you go listen to them, as well as the remaining 8 songs on the album. I'll also be linking it as well as some mental health and abuse resources in the description of this video. Let's continue this conversation. The first songs in the album detail a relationship getting more and more toxic, but I'm going to start with the song that got me hooked, Kind Eyes. This is also the first song in which our narrator is left alone to converse with their own thoughts. The whole idea of this song is that the narrator has spent their whole life only caring about the needs of others, which is what got them into the toxic situation to begin with. Now that they've escaped, they're left with one person to reckon with, the one they've neglected, themselves. Our narrator hates themselves and has spent their whole existence running away. They are now left with an empty cup, utterly exhausted. It's time to meet the person in the mirror, and it's time to show them the same love they showed everyone else in their life. There were multiple points in leaving my ex. I say leaving because yes, leaving abuse is a long process a lot of the time, where I thought maybe I should just go back. It certainly wasn't because I loved him, but rather because if he was hurting me, he wasn't hurting anyone else. I desperately wanted him to stop trying to reach out to my friends and family. I just wanted it to go away at any cost. But this song helped me start to realize that I was a person, not collateral. My friends and family were there for me no matter what. My happiness actually did matter. It also encouraged me to sit with myself and see just who I was dealing with. I would always view myself as a bit part, something only worth what it could be used for. But this song made me begin to realize that that's not me. I'm just as much of a person as anyone else. And the girl in the mirror is the one that I deserve to know. It's still an uphill battle, but I'm far better friends with myself than I ever was before. Bully is a song about someone in your life that saps everything out of you for their own benefit. They don't feel strong on their own. In fact, they're quite insecure, so they prey on someone kind enough to hear them out and drain them for all they're worth. This all comes to a head in the song when the victim in the song decides to fight back to establish boundaries and leave, even if doing so could paint them as the villain to the public eye. This song spoke volumes to me. Here's a hard truth I had to learn. People who've mistreated you don't want the world to know that they have. Especially if you're the one that leaves, your abuser will try to change the narrative, even going as far as to sometimes take things they did to you and flip the script, convincing others that you were the perpetrator of those same crimes. This sucks. I lost a lot of people I thought were friends because of it. But even if leaving means you have to be a little harsh and nasty to get them to let you go, even if it means giving them ammunition to use and ruining your image, it's still worth it. The people who actually love you will stay, and those only hungry for drama will fade into the background. Let them talk. Their words hold no value. You're free now. By Peace is a song about the tension build and incident part of an abuse cycle. It starts first with an argument, then an escalation, climax, and it ends with our narrator slinking into submission, able to do nothing but apologize to try and de-escalate the situation. The song also has themes of the victim feeling like a mother to the abuser, constantly having to walk on eggshells, offer endless unreciprocated support, and coddle them. My ex threatened to end his life. A lot. Especially after I left, but during the relationship as well. I remember one night when I was hanging out with a friend, I got so many phone calls from him that my phone battery was actually draining from the sheer volume. This was after I left him, and after I told him that I didn't feel comfortable calling him at the moment. Obviously, he breached this boundary. I wanted everything to calm down, but calm down it did not. I remember going to the parking lot after wishing my friend goodbye. We had only hung out for an hour or two. He called me over 80 times in that short time frame. I got into my car, answered my phone, and screamed at him. I wasn't angry, though. I was scared. I sobbed at him, begging him to stop contacting me. Why didn't I block him? Again, I tried. Instead of listening, instead of caring, he took this opportunity to pounce, telling me that he had hurt himself and that he was going to kill himself if I didn't take him back. He made me stay on the phone all night that night as suicide watch. After he thought I was asleep, he spent a long time whispering sweet nothings over the phone about how he was going to fix me, and how it was my mental illness convincing me to break up with him, and not what I actually wanted. I didn't sleep a damn wink that night. Every concern in the relationship I had would be responded to in much of the same way, to varying degrees. I was needy, overreacting. That's not how it happened. You're wrong. He could never do anything incorrectly. It was always my fault for expecting too much out of him. For example, it was wrong of me to ask him to leave a group chat in which someone took pictures of me without my permission in order to call me ugly. Did my ex defend me? No, he was too scared of other men. He gave me his phone so I could defend myself to this group of complete strangers instead. It was wrong of me to ask him to stop playing a video game while I was having a panic attack. The first time, the second time, and the 50th time. It was wrong of me to ask him to stop accusing me of cheating or not loving him whenever I didn't want to do what he wanted. All these were high maintenance, and I should just be happy with what I had. In the end of all these conversations, all I could do was numbly mumble apologies and sink back down to my place. Sanity is the last song in the album, and it's about taking your life back after leaving toxicity. The narrator cuts their hair, gets rid of clothes with bad memories attached, and accepts that people will think what they think. They think the narrator's insane? Fine. Sanity's exhausting for the heart after all. If this is insanity, so be it. They're happy. Not only could I relate with changing my appearance after leaving abuse, but I also remember taking a box full of everything my ex ever gave me or made me, whether it be homemade or not, and just dumping it at a local thrift store. I didn't want to give the satisfaction or power that burning had associated with it, so I just dumped it in a box on the side of the road. If the thrift store workers threw it away, they threw it away. If somebody else could find use out of it, good for them. However, as I mentioned previously, my abuse story was outed by a former trusted friend to the small town I come from. This town isn't exactly the type to believe victims, so I was branded a plethora of unpleasant things. The worst of all, though, is when one of my best friends, one that helped me through so much previously, one that we'd gone through grief together, one that said he'd love me forever, called me crazy. Suddenly, he began treating me like a zoo exhibit. He would call me just to see the quote-unquote crazy things that I would tell him, in complete confidence, thinking that I had his trust. My ex's friends would constantly try following me on social media to quote-unquote see what everybody was talking about. It was humiliating and extremely dehumanizing. Honestly, I still miss this friend, and his words in our final conversation still hurt to this day. But I've decided that I'm not going to apologize. I'm not walking back on this. This is my story. I'm telling it, and it fucking happened. I was abused, whether anyone, including myself, likes it or not. That's just the damn truth. If I'm called insane by small-minded people for telling the truth, just to defend somebody who never even liked them to begin with, then I'm okay with that. If this is insanity, I don't want to be sane. This album helped me take my story back. I can't possibly thank Haven enough for its creation, and I implore you to listen to it. Please. It might just save your life. Thank you for letting me tell my story, and thank you for watching.